to the love that has laid hold of me. I'm holding on to the love that has laid hold of me.
Good morning, FCF. We're in our fourth day of this journey of learning about crying out to the Lord as a way of life. There'll be 8 days in all. And the principle we're trying to just get embedded in our hearts is that our God wants us to know we can rely on Him, that He will show up for us again and again and again. He wants us to walk through this life with tremendous confidence that when we face things that are overwhelming, we don't know what to do, we don't know the solution, we don't have the power, we don't have the answers. He wants us to cry out to Him to do what we cannot do, to empower us, to enable us, to rescue us in ways that we would never be able to do for ourselves. So I'm going to pick up reading and I'm going a little further. We were in the book of Exodus for the first 3 days. We're now going to the book of 1 Samuel. And this is where Israel is entering into their kingdom era. They don't yet have a king. Saul will be their first king. So it's still the era of the judges. And Samuel is their judge. Samuel was a great prophet and a judge. But the Israelites had superstitiously gone into a battle with the Philistines, and they put the Ark of the Covenant out in front. They thought that just because they had the Ark of the Covenant that they could automatically win the battle. Well, the Ark was taken by the Philistines. Finally, the Lord intervened, judged the Philistines. They brought the Ark back to the Israelites. And so Samuel had called upon the Israelites to forsake their involvement with foreign gods and goddesses. They had strayed from the Lord, to turn back to the Lord with their whole hearts. And he said that if they do this, God would restore them. And this is always God's pattern. When we drift, if we come back to Him with all of our hearts, He's merciful and restores us. So that's kind of the context. Now, the Israelites have gone through this process. They've turned back to God, but they understand that they really, really need to stay close to Him as a way of life. The Philistine army, meanwhile, has drawn up against them. Let me start reading 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 7. When the Philistines heard that the Israelites had assembled at Mizpah, the ruler of the Philistines came up to attack them. And when the Israelites heard of it, they were afraid because of the Philistines. Verse 8, they said to Samuel, this is Samuel the prophet, the last judge, do not stop crying out to the Lord our God for us, that He may rescue us from the hand of the Philistines. And of course, if you read the rest of the passage, Samuel does just that. He cries out to the Lord in behalf of the Israelites. He asks God to rescue them from the hand of the Philistines, and God does just that. God causes a storm that literally causes the Philistine army to get so confused they're hurting one another and they run in derision. The main key part, though, is it says, don't stop crying out to God for us that He would rescue us. When you go to the New Testament, and I keep referring to this, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, we find the Apostle Paul teaching this very thing, that when we get into circumstances that take us beyond ourselves, we're beaten, we don't have the solution, we don't have the answers, we don't have the energy, we don't have the emotional strength, the mental strength, the economic strength, whatever it is, God wants us to learn to cry out to Him. It says in 2 Corinthians, the God that raises the dead. He lets us get beyond ourselves so we can finally learn, I can call on Him anytime that I'm in trouble, and He really will rescue me. He'll deliver me. Paul says He'll deliver us again and again, and He'll continue to rescue us until our mission in this world is over. So, what did this mean about the Israelites say, please don't stop crying out to God for us? We have a term when it comes to praying for others. It's usually called intercessory prayer. It means that I can pray for you, or you can pray for me, and I can bring some extra blessing, some extra power, some extra help into your life from God by me praying for you, likewise when you pray for me. So they say to Samuel, don't stop crying out to God that He'll rescue us. What a wonderful thing it would be if we just kind of made it a regular habit occasionally to pray for each other, to say, oh God, whatever you do, don't stop rescuing whoever that person is in your life. Because I want to tell you, we all need a lot of rescuing in this journey through life. It's long, it takes a lot of twists and turns, and it's not difficult. If you are in trouble and you don't know what to do and you're overwhelmed and you're beaten, this is your time to begin to learn this lesson. Cry out to the Lord He will hear you. He will deliver you. He will rescue you. And then you'll learn to live this way as a confident aspect of life. And that's what He wants us to do. FCF, I hope this talk will help you. I hope it'll be the most practical thing that you've heard in a long time. Thank you.
I'm holding on to the love that has laid hold of me. I'm holding on to the love that has laid